Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. What if that little bottle of vitamins you've been faithfully swallowing every morning for years, the one your friend swore by, the one that says supports heart health or promotes energy right there on the label, what if that bottle is actually the reason you feel tired, achy, foggy, and older than you should be? What if the very pills you've been taking to protect your body after 60 are quietly, invisibly, day by day, doing the opposite? The thumbnail on this video says, "These healthy vitamins could be hurting you." And I need you to really sit with that, not as clickbait, as a warning. Because after age 60, your body is not the same machine it was at 40. Your liver filters more slowly, your kidneys don't flush out excess nutrients the way they used to, your digestive system absorbs things differently. And some of the most common, most trusted, most responsible supplements on the market can turn toxic inside an aging body without you ever realizing it until the damage is done. Today, I'm going to walk you through 4 specific vitamins that for almost everyone over 60 you should avoid unless your doctor has prescribed them for a diagnosed deficiency. And then, just as importantly, I'll show you the 4 supplements you should take every single day to protect your brain, your bones, your heart, and your independence. This is not alternative medicine. This is peer-reviewed science. But I'll be careful to tell you what's proven and what's still an association. And at the end, I'll give you a list of blood tests to ask your doctor for, so you stop guessing and start knowing. So let's get started. Before I name the first one, let me give you a quick rule that applies to everything you're about to hear. Nothing I say in this video applies if your doctor has run a blood test, found a true deficiency, and prescribed a specific vitamin at a specific dose. For example, some people over 60 genuinely need iron because of internal bleeding or severe malabsorption. Some need high-dose B6 for certain genetic conditions. Some need calcium because of advanced osteoporosis. Those are medical treatments, not general advice. But for the other 95% of people over 60, the ones taking these vitamins because they heard they were good for you or because they're in a multivitamin, the answer is almost always no. So keep that in mind as we go. Let's start with the first vitamin that you should almost never take after 60 unless prescribed: high-dose preformed vitamin A. You'll see it on ingredient labels as retinol or retinol palmitate. Now, I can already hear you thinking, vitamin A is good for my eyes, it's good for my immune system, it's in every multivitamin. And you're right, vitamin A is absolutely essential. But here's what nobody tells you. Vitamin A is what we call fat-soluble. That means it doesn't dissolve in water and get flushed out through your urine like vitamin C or the B vitamins. Instead, it gets stored in your liver and in your fatty tissues. And it can stay there for months, even years. When you're young and your liver is working at full capacity, this isn't usually a problem. Your body regulates things pretty well. But after 60, your liver slows down. It processes things less efficiently, and your fat distribution changes. So that vitamin A you're taking every day doesn't just get used and eliminated. It accumulates. And when it accumulates past a certain point, it becomes toxic. The early symptoms are things you'd never connect to a vitamin: dry, itchy skin that lotion doesn't fix, brittle hair and nails, dizziness when you stand up too quickly, joint aches that you blame on arthritis, fatigue that you blame on age, even blurred vision, the very thing you were trying to prevent. But the scariest part isn't the skin or the joints. A 2022 review published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition looked at older adults with elevated vitamin A levels. And what they found was an association, not necessarily causation, but a strong warning sign, that those individuals had a 25% higher risk of developing atrial fibrillation. That's an irregular heartbeat that dramatically increases your risk of stroke. Let me say that again. The vitamin you're taking to stay healthy is associated with a higher risk of a stroke. Now, what's a safe amount? The official upper limit for preformed vitamin A from supplements is 700 micrograms per day for women over 60 and 900 micrograms for men. But here's the kicker. Many senior-focused multivitamins contain 1,500 to 3,000 micrograms. Go check your bottle right now. Look for the words retinol or retinol palmitate. If you see them and the number is anywhere near or above those limits, you are in the danger zone. What should you do instead? Stop taking preformed vitamin A in pill form. Your body doesn't need it that way. Instead, get your vitamin A from beta-carotene, found naturally in sweet potatoes, carrots, spinach, butternut squash, and eggs. When you eat beta-carotene, your body converts it into vitamin A, but only as much as you actually need. It's self-regulating. There's no risk of overdose because your body simply stops converting once you have enough. Think of it this way. Retinol from supplements is like someone pouring water into a glass that's already full. It overflows and makes a mess. Beta-carotene from food is like having a smart faucet that only turns on when the glass is actually empty. So unless your doctor has tested your blood and found a true vitamin A deficiency, which is very rare in the developed world, avoid preformed vitamin A supplements after 60. Now let's move to the second one, and this one is tricky because it's been marketed to seniors as an energy solution for decades. I'm talking about iron supplements. When most people hear the word iron, they think energy, strength, those old cartoons where spinach made you instantly powerful. And for certain people at certain times in life, iron supplementation is absolutely necessary and even life-saving. But here's what almost nobody tells you. After 60, unless you have a diagnosed deficiency, extra iron doesn't give you energy. It just builds up in your organs and slowly poisons you. Let me explain the biology because it's actually pretty straightforward. Iron is not like other nutrients. Your body doesn't have a good way to get rid of excess iron. There's no elimination pathway. You can't sweat it out. You can't urinate it out. Once iron is in your system, it stays there, stored primarily in your liver, your heart, and your pancreas. Now, when you're younger, especially if you're a menstruating woman, you lose iron regularly through blood loss, so supplementation often makes sense. But men stop losing iron after puberty, and women stop losing it after menopause. That means the natural drain is gone. So what happens when you keep adding more iron on top of what you already have? It accumulates. And as it accumulates, it creates what's called oxidative stress, essentially rust forming inside your body, damaging your cells, aging your tissues, and increasing your risk of serious disease. A 2018 study published in Alzheimer's Research and Therapy found a direct link between higher iron levels in the brain and higher rates of dementia. Now, again, that's an association. It doesn't prove that iron causes dementia, but it's a strong signal. Other research has connected excess iron to heart disease, liver damage, and even certain cancers. And here's what really bothers me. Most seniors taking iron supplements don't actually need them, but the symptoms of iron overload are so vague that nobody makes the connection. You feel tired, but you assume that's just age. Your joints hurt, but you figure that's arthritis. You have trouble concentrating, but you think maybe that's early memory decline. Meanwhile, that iron pill you're taking every morning, the one that's supposed to be giving you energy, is quietly accumulating in your heart muscle, in your liver tissue, in your brain. So how many seniors actually need iron? Less than 5%. Only those with diagnosed iron deficiency anemia, usually from internal bleeding, ulcers, or severe malabsorption. Everyone else is getting plenty of iron from food: red meat, beans, leafy greens, fortified cereals. You do not need a pill. In fact, most senior-specific multivitamins have already removed iron for exactly this reason. If yours still contains iron and your doctor hasn't told you otherwise, you need to switch to an iron-free formula. And if you're unsure, ask your doctor for a serum ferritin test or a transferrin saturation test. Those blood tests will tell you exactly where your iron levels are. If they come back normal or high, you have your answer. Stop supplementing. Because here's the truth. After 60, your energy doesn't come from iron pills. It comes from protecting your organs, reducing inflammation, and giving your body only what it actually needs, not what a marketing campaign told you to take. Let's move to the third one. And this one is going to shock people because it's probably the most recommended supplement for seniors in the entire world. I'm talking about calcium supplements, specifically calcium taken alone, without its supporting nutrients. For as long as I can remember, seniors have been told the same thing over and over again. If you want strong bones, you need calcium. Take it every day. It's non-negotiable. It's in every osteoporosis pamphlet, every bone health commercial, every senior multivitamin on the market. And I get it. The logic seems airtight. Calcium builds bones. Seniors lose bone density. Therefore, seniors need more calcium. Simple. Except it's not simple at all, because after 60, your body doesn't handle calcium the way it used to. And when you take calcium supplements without the right supporting nutrients, that calcium doesn't go where you want it to go. Let me paint you a picture of what actually happens. When you're young, your bones are like sponges, actively soaking up calcium with the help of hormones and growth factors that tell your body exactly where to send it. But after 60, that hormonal signaling weakens. Your bones stop absorbing calcium as efficiently. So where does all that extra calcium from your supplement go? It goes into your arteries, where it can harden your blood vessels and raise your risk of heart attack and stroke. It goes into your joints, where it contributes to stiffness and pain. It goes into your kidneys, where it forms painful stones. A 2016 meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Heart Association looked at seniors taking calcium supplements. And here's what they found. Those individuals had a 22% higher risk of heart disease compared to those who got their calcium from food sources. Let that sink in. You're taking calcium to protect your bones, and you may actually be weakening your heart. And the cruel irony? Your bones might not even be getting stronger because calcium on its own can't do the job. It needs help. It needs vitamin D3 to absorb into your bloodstream in the first place. It needs vitamin K2 to direct that calcium into your bones and keep it out of your arteries. It needs magnesium to balance the whole system. A plain calcium pill, taken alone, is like sending a truck full of bricks with no driver and no map. Those bricks will end up everywhere except where you want them. Now, does this mean you should never take calcium? Not necessarily. If your doctor has diagnosed you with significant osteoporosis and you cannot get enough calcium from food, you may need a supplement. But here's the rule: never take calcium alone. It must be paired with D3, K2, and magnesium. That combination ensures the calcium goes into your bones, not your blood vessels. Even better, focus on getting your calcium from food first. Leafy greens like kale and collard greens, sardines with bones, yogurt, almonds, chia seeds. These provide calcium in a natural, absorbable form that your body knows how to handle. And don't forget weight-bearing exercise. Walking, resistance training, even just standing and balancing is just as important for bone strength as calcium, maybe more important, so check your total intake. If your multivitamin already gives you 500 to 1,000 milligrams of calcium daily and you're eating calcium-rich foods, you might already be overdoing it. Because here's the reality: calcium is vital, but not the way you've been told. On its own, in supplement form, it can clog arteries, stiffen joints, and increase your risk of the very thing you're trying to avoid. Real bone health comes from balance. Now let's talk about the fourth vitamin you should almost never take in high doses after 60. And this one is the sneakiest of them all, because it's a B vitamin. Everyone knows that B vitamins are harmless, right? They're water soluble. You just pee out the excess. Except that's not true for vitamin B6. Unlike vitamin C or other B vitamins, high doses of B6 behave differently. They accumulate in your nerve tissue, and over time, that accumulation can become neurotoxic, literally poisoning the nerves that B6 is supposed to be protecting. And seniors are especially vulnerable because your liver clears toxins more slowly than it used to, and your nerves are already more fragile just from the aging process itself. A 2017 study published in the journal Neurology looked at older adults taking high-dose B6 supplements, anything above 50 milligrams per day. And what they found was alarming. Those individuals had double the risk of developing peripheral neuropathy, tingling, numbness, burning sensations in the hands and feet, poor balance, frequent falls, muscle weakness, and fatigue. And here's the insidious part. Those symptoms look almost identical to what most people expect from normal aging. So when your hands go numb, you think, well, I'm 68, that's just age. When your balance gets worse, you think, I need to be more careful. When you're tired all the time, you think, that's just getting older. But it's not age, it's toxicity. Now, the official safe upper limit for B6 is set at 100 milligrams per day. But research shows that even 50 milligrams daily, taken for months or years, can cause toxicity in some people, especially older adults. And here's what really bothers me. Many energy boosters, nerve support formulas, and senior multivitamins on the market contain 50, 75, even 100 milligrams of B6 per serving. Stack that with your diet: chickpeas, tuna, turkey, bananas, fortified cereals, and you could be unknowingly overdosing every single day. And unlike a deficiency, which is usually easy to fix, nerve damage from too much B6 can take months or even years to recover from. In some cases, the damage is permanent. So what should you do? First, check your supplements. If your multivitamin or any other pill contains more than 10 milligrams of B6 per serving, you should seriously consider switching to a lower dose formula. Second, know your actual daily requirement. Seniors only need about 1.5 milligrams for women and 1.7 for men. That's it, less than 2 milligrams. Third, get your B6 from food whenever possible. You will never overdose on B6 from chickpeas, bananas, or potatoes. Nature built in the safety. The supplement industry did not. And if you're worried, ask your doctor for a B6 blood test. Don't just take high doses just in case. Because when it comes to B6 after 60, more is not better. More can be dangerous. So those are the four that most seniors should avoid: high-dose preformed vitamin A, unnecessary iron, calcium taken alone, and high-dose vitamin B6. And I know that might feel overwhelming. You might be looking at your supplement bottles right now wondering what's safe to take at all. But here's the good news. Avoiding danger is only half the equation. The other half is fueling your body with what it actually needs. And there are four specific nutrients that most seniors are dangerously low in, and that, when supplemented correctly, can dramatically improve your energy, your memory, your balance, and even your lifespan. Let me walk you through them one by one. The first one is magnesium. If there's one nutrient that almost every senior I've encountered is running low on, it's magnesium. And the tricky part is, you often don't even know it's missing until your body starts sending signals that seem completely unrelated to a mineral deficiency. Trouble sleeping, muscle cramps at night, especially in your calves, unexplained fatigue, restless legs, constipation, even an irregular heartbeat. Most people shrug these off as just part of getting older. But more often than not, these are textbook symptoms of magnesium deficiency. Magnesium matters more than most people realize. It's involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. It keeps your heart rhythm stable. It allows your muscles to contract and relax properly. It supports nerve function and brain activity. It regulates blood sugar, and it's essential for bone health, working alongside calcium and vitamin D. But aging creates a hidden problem. Your body absorbs less magnesium from food as you get older, and many common medications, blood pressure drugs like diuretics, reflux medicines like proton pump inhibitors, and even some antibiotics actually drain magnesium from your body faster than you can replace it. So even with a decent diet, your levels quietly drop year after year. A 2018 study in the journal Nutrients found that magnesium deficiency in older adults was linked to a 50% higher risk of atrial fibrillation, that same dangerous, irregular heartbeat we talked about earlier. It's also associated with higher rates of dementia, type 2 diabetes, and chronic inflammation, essentially accelerating aging throughout your entire body. The good news? When you correct magnesium deficiency, the changes can be remarkable. Deeper sleep, fewer muscle cramps, sharper focus, steadier mood, better balance, which means fewer falls. Not all magnesium supplements are equal, though. Avoid magnesium oxide. It's cheap, but it's poorly absorbed and often causes diarrhea. The best forms for seniors are magnesium glycinate, which is gentle and good for sleep, magnesium citrate, which is well absorbed and helpful for constipation, and magnesium malate, which is good for energy. Aim for 250 to 400 milligrams daily, depending on your diet and health. Food helps too. Leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocados, beans, lentils, even dark chocolate. But because modern soil is depleted of magnesium, food alone is often not enough. A good magnesium supplement could be the single biggest upgrade to your daily routine after 60. One caution: if you take blood pressure medication, especially calcium channel blockers or diuretics, check with your doctor before starting magnesium because it can lower your blood pressure too much when combined. The second must-take is vitamin D3. If magnesium is the helper, vitamin D3 is the master switch. It determines your bone strength, your immune defense, and your brain function. After age 65, your skin's ability to make vitamin D from sunlight drops by more than 50%. Add to that the fact that most seniors spend more time indoors, use sunscreen, which is good for skin cancer but blocks vitamin D production, or live in regions with weak winter sunlight, and deficiency becomes almost inevitable. Vitamin D3 isn't really a vitamin, it's a hormone. It affects nearly every system in your body. It regulates your immune system, helping you fight off infections. It supports cardiovascular health and reduces inflammation. It protects your brain cells, lowering your risk of depression and cognitive decline. And of course, it's essential for calcium absorption. Without D3, the calcium you eat or take goes right through you. A large 2022 trial called the VITAL study followed over 25,000 adults for several years. The results were striking. Those who took vitamin D3 had a reduction in cancer death by about 25% in certain subgroups, though the overall effect on all-cause mortality was modest. Still, that's significant. But most seniors make two big mistakes. First, they take vitamin D2 instead of D3. D2 is the plant-based form, and it's about 1/3 as effective as D3. You want D3. Second, they take doses that are too small to move the needle. The official recommended daily allowance for seniors, 600 to 800 IU, is woefully inadequate. Most experts now agree that seniors need between 2,000 and 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 per day to reach optimal blood levels. And here's a critical pairing: Vitamin D3 works best when taken with vitamin K2 and magnesium. D3 helps your body absorb calcium. K2 tells that calcium where to go, into your bones, not your arteries. And magnesium activates the D3 so it can do its job. Without all three, you're not getting the full benefit. There's also a medication warning. If you take thiazide diuretics for high blood pressure, high doses of D3 can cause too much calcium to build up in your blood, a condition called hypercalcemia. So ask your doctor for a simple blood test to check your vitamin D level. The target is between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Most seniors fall between 15 and 25. That's a deficiency. Fix it with D3 and you will feel the difference in your energy, your mood, and how often you get sick. The third must-take is vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form. Most people have never even heard of vitamin K2. They know K1, that's the one that helps your blood clot. But K2 is different, and it may be the most underrated nutrient for senior health. Here's what K2 does. It activates a protein called osteocalcin, which pulls calcium into your bones. And it activates another protein called matrix GLA protein, which sweeps calcium out of your arteries. In other words, vitamin K2 is the traffic cop for calcium. Without enough K2, the calcium in your bloodstream, whether from food or supplements, has no direction. It ends up depositing in your arteries, hardening them, and increasing your risk of heart attack and stroke. It also ends up in your joints, causing stiffness and pain. The Rotterdam study, a massive long-term research project in the Netherlands, found that people with the highest dietary intake of vitamin K2 had a 57% lower risk of dying from heart disease and significantly less severe arterial calcification. Now, important caveat, that study looked at K2 from food, especially a fermented soybean dish called natto, not from supplements. But supplement forms of K2 as MK7 are chemically identical to the form found in fermented foods, so they likely work similarly. Most seniors need about 100 to 200 micrograms of K2 as MK7 per day. And remember, K2 is not optional if you're taking vitamin D or calcium. D3 increases calcium absorption. That's great, but only if you have K2 to tell that calcium where to go. Without K2, you're just flooding your bloodstream with unguided calcium, increasing your risk of arterial calcification. The combination of D3, K2, and magnesium is the golden triad for senior bone and heart health. However, and this is absolutely critical, if you take the blood thinner warfarin, also known as Coumadin, do not take vitamin K2 without your doctor's supervision. K2 can directly interfere with warfarin's ability to prevent blood clots. For everyone else, K2 is a game changer. And the fourth must-take is omega-3 fatty acids, specifically the marine forms EPA and DHA. If I had to pick just one supplement for every person over 60, this would be it. Omega-3s are not just good for you. They are essential for nearly every aging system in your body. Let me give you the list. Omega-3s protect your brain. DHA is a primary structural component of your brain tissue. Higher DHA levels are associated with lower rates of Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. Omega-3s protect your heart. They reduce inflammation, lower triglycerides, stabilize heart rhythm, and reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke. Omega-3s protect your joints. They reduce the inflammation that drives osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Omega-3s protect your eyes. DHA is also a major component of your retina. Low omega-3 levels are linked to age-related macular degeneration. Omega-3s protect your muscles. They help preserve muscle mass and strength, reducing the risk of sarcopenia and frailty. Omega-3s improve your mood. Multiple studies have shown that EPA can be as effective as some antidepressants for treating depression in older adults. And here's the critical point. Your body cannot make omega-3s. You must get them from your diet or supplements. But after 60, your ability to convert plant-based omega-3s from flax, chia, walnuts into the active EPA and DHA forms declines significantly. That means you need direct marine sources, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, or anchovies 2 to 3 times per week. But most seniors don't eat that much fish. That's where a high-quality fish oil or algae oil supplement comes in. How much do you need? Most research suggests that seniors should aim for 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day. Look at your supplement bottle carefully. If it says fish oil 1,000 milligrams, that's the total oil. You need to look at the breakdown. How much EPA and how much DHA? A good supplement will have at least 500 millimoles of EPA and 250 millimoles of DHA per serving. 2 servings a day gets you there. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, algae-based omega-3 supplements are excellent. That's where the fish get their omega-3s from in the first place. One warning. If you take blood thinners like warfarin, Plavix, or even high-dose aspirin, consult your doctor before starting high-dose omega-3s because they also have a mild blood-thinning effect. For everyone else, omega-3s are one of the safest, most beneficial supplements you can take after 60. Now, before you close this video, I want to give you one final action step. How do you know if you already have vitamin toxicity or a deficiency? You don't. You can't guess. So ask your doctor for these 5 blood tests. Serum ferritin to check your iron levels, vitamin A blood test, vitamin B6 blood test, vitamin D, specifically 25-hydroxyvitamin D, and magnesium levels. Though note that standard blood magnesium tests are not always accurate because most magnesium is inside your cells, not in your blood. Still, it's a starting point. These tests are simple, often covered by insurance, and they will tell you whether you're one of the rare people who actually needs one of the avoid vitamins or whether you're deficient in one of the must-take ones. Knowledge is power. Don't guess when it comes to your health. So let me summarize clearly. For almost everyone over 60, you should avoid high-dose preformed vitamin A, unnecessary iron supplements, calcium taken alone without D3, K2, and magnesium, and high-dose vitamin B6 above 10 milligrams daily. Instead, you should take magnesium, vitamin D3, vitamin K2 as MK7, and omega-3s EPA and DHA, but always check with your doctor first, especially if you're on prescription medications. The thumbnail said, "These healthy vitamins could be hurting you." Now you know which ones. This isn't about being afraid of supplements, it's about being smart, because after 60, every pill you swallow is either helping you or hurting you. The difference is knowledge. Go check your medicine cabinet, look at your labels, have the conversation with your doctor, and if this video helped you, share it with someone you care about, because the odds are they're making the same mistakes right now. You can still transform your health, not by taking more pills, but by taking the right ones. Thank you for watching.